Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Family Sedan channel. Here is a headline from the Crypto Basic. Ex-SEC director says it's reasonable for Judge Torres to lock Ripple's XRP escrow accounts forever. So that's not remotely reasonable. And I do not believe that's going to happen. So I'll share with you the specifics of why this came to be. And I also have perspective from attorney John Deaton on this, as well as attorney Bill Morgan. But that's some silly ass. And I'll tell you what, even if that did happen, I would be repulsed. Like to snatch up an asset from a company, like it's Ripple's property. You're just going to come in and take it. I can't imagine how, like, literally taking the escrow how could that possibly even be legal? That's crazy. I mean, it's one thing to, demand fines be paid, this or that. I mean, okay. But literally just taking the asset because reasons, ain't cool with that. So we'll break it down, but before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos, all up in this bitch. But just as a hobby and just for fun. So let's jump in. As the SEC v. Ripple lawsuit approaches its end, XRP community members have been sharing their dream ruling for the case. In a recent Twitter discussion, Mark Fagel, former regional director of SEC's San Francisco office, agreed with an opinion from an XRP community member. Jacko, so that's the XRP community member, Jacko, regarding the upcoming SEC v. Ripple ruling. In what was tagged as his dream ruling, the XRP enthusiast said he wishes that Judge Annalisa Torres levy a fine against Ripple for initially offering XRP as a security. The user claimed that he has gone through Ripple's emails and believes the company deserves to be fined. And so, look, I don't have a strong opinion on that, frankly. First of all, I think it's possible that Ripple could lose the case just to whatever degree. Maybe they have to pay a fine, this or that. I don't even care necessarily if that happens, so long as there's clarity for XRP, because that's what should matter to us here. So would that be reasonable, though? I mean, if you're citing specific transactions early on, maybe you could compel me to think, okay, then Ripple did technically doing something wrong. I'm not convinced at this particular point, though. In fact, just seeing how the SEC has been behaving, the fact that they're not even citing specific transactions, they're going with this embodiment theory that every single transaction is having to do with XRP from the beginning of time to present and all the way forever into the future. You lost me there. If you want to make a legitimate argument, then they should have just done that. And even Attorney Deaton said, had they just done that and focused on specific transactions that Ripple made, not talking about secondary market transactions, Attorney Deaton said he never even would have jumped in the damn case as amicus. Because what would be the point? Because they're effectively, by going the route they did, they're attacking XRP investors. So anyway, the piece continues. So furthermore, Jacko also wishes that the judge orders the majority of XRP in Ripple's escrow accounts to be handed over to the SEC and locked forever. In return, the user said, moving forward, the judge should declare all circulating XRP as a commodity. Interestingly, the tweet attracted Fagel's attention, who noted that the user's dream ruling for SEC v. Ripple case sounds reasonable enough. And that's a quote. He said, sounds reasonable enough. That doesn't sound remotely reasonable. Because again, like I said at the outset of the video, you're talking about just taking an asset from someone. That's different than, insisting that they pay a fine or anything of the sort. In a separate tweet, attorney Fagel wrote to my fellow XRP YouTuber Jungle Inc. and he said, I think the SEC's slow and erratic crypto response in and out of this litigation, its mishandling of the Hinman matter, the speech and related discovery battles, and the arguable novelty of certain legal issues could lead the judge and or jury to rule against the SEC. So, look, Attorney Fagel acknowledges that the SEC very well could lose this, although he has stated that he believes that the SEC has the stronger argument when it comes to the Section 5 violations. Okay, but reading that and then also saying, yeah, it's reasonable, just take the escrow. I'm like, what are you talking about? How is that remotely reasonable? I don't get it. So here's what Attorney Deaton had to say. Locking Ripple's escrow forever will never happen. The SEC didn't seek a preliminary injunction. The SEC seeks $1.3 billion and a permanent injunction from Ripple and its executives from violating Section 5 in the future. Ironically, during the case, oh, I love this. During the case, when Ripple objected to how expensive the SEC's discovery requests were, the SEC argued Ripple could sell XRP to raise funds. How about that argument? Hey, Judge, Ripple can afford to do what we ask because all they need to do is violate securities laws some more and sell unregistered securities to the public. And then he writes, no wonder the judge called them hypocrites. If Ripple loses at summary judgment, there will be a penalty phase, and the judge could fine Ripple, disgorge Ripple from any profits minus legitimate business costs, and enjoin them by ordering not to do it again. Then Ripple would appeal the status quo, operate the same way it has the last 3 years in effect. Congress could enact clarity, making it all moot, or Ripple could win on appeal. The escrow, in my opinion, remains intact, absent a settlement after Judge Torres issues her rule. Now, I think that's the most reasonable response that's out there today, and I agree with him. I don't think that you're going to be seeing the escrow snatched up. And people have been theorizing for some time, and even sometimes outright stating that the escrow is the reason the SEC was coming after them. They just want to get their little greedy mitts on the escrow and stuff like this, and I just roll my eyes at that stuff. That's not even something that they cite in the case. The SEC doesn't even, they're not. Like, you point to me in that, look at that, read the entire original brief. They make all sorts of nonsense allegations, but they're not saying that Ripple broke the law because they have a certain quantity of XRP. They never make that argument. Then there was this from attorney Bill Morgan. He said, because the SEC knows sales to on-demand liquidity customers are not investment contracts, and these are the only sales Ripple is still making. That's the status quo. Yeah, and so that's certainly true. Ripple ceased their programmatic sales of XRP, which are basically just any sales that aren't directly related to on-demand liquidity. Well, they stopped that, I think it was back in 2019, if memory serves. So they kind of recognized, in case we get sued, maybe it would be better if we don't. And at that point, by the way, they already had so much money, so much funding from venture capital investments, and also from actual XRP sales. It didn't even matter at that point. And also, by the way, it's worth reminding you, it's not something I think most people think about all the time, but when it comes to, the profits from XRP sales, just keep in mind that Ripple put, the vast majority of what it earned, back into the XRP ecosystem. Now, actually, I should put a little asterisk there. I haven't actually seen recent data on that in a couple years. I'd be surprised if it changed, though. Outside of on-demand liquidity specifically, but I remember back when Ripple had their spring initiative, which ultimately was changed a little bit and rebranded as Ripple X. I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but an insane amount of the profit from XRP sales was invested into the XRP ecosystem and also partly the broader crypto ecosystem because they were looking for a bigger crypto pie. So I look at that, I don't see Ripple doing, engaging in greedy behavior or anything like that. I mean, we're talking about capitalism here, and so yes, they want to make a profit. I mean, that's quite obvious here, but I don't see anything unreasonable. They started a company, they owned 80 billion XRP at one point, and it was worth $0.00 at that point in time. It's people around the world that decided it was worth something, boosting Ripple's holdings to being worth more than $0.00. That's not Ripple's fault. It just happened. So the whole greed argument has always been a bogus nonsense argument as far as I'm concerned anyway. So no, I don't think this is ever going to happen. I don't think that, Ripple's escrow is going to be locked up and taken away. The SEC isn't even talking about that. And I just can't imagine Judge Torres pushing for something like that. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. I know some of you are going to disagree. That's perfectly fine. You can try and persuade me. Go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. But I'm wrapping up. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Family Sedan.